Thank you. Good morning, and welcome to our fellowship, a liberal religious community, free in faith, diverse in thought, united in caring, and committed to action. I'm Louise Malusis. Our worship service will begin shortly. Now would be a good time to silence your phones. You'll need the Singing the Journal hymnal, and that's the teal one. If you don't have one, raise your hand and an usher will bring you one. And an order of service. Again, I'm Louise Malusis and I serve on the transition team, along with Rajeev Arora, right over here, and David Nelson in the choir. Today, our service will be dedicated to presenting the results of our listening sessions, the process we went through in February and March. Along with Reverend Kathy, we have much to share with you that it's exciting and inspiring. So let us now be seated, silence our devices, and bring our whole selves into this time and place so that our service may begin. Monica Ciudad Real will now begin our service with a prelude. A few informational slides will be rolling during the music.
Good morning. My name is Claire Smith, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here at FBR. We're happy to welcome you here this morning. If you are visiting for the first time or returning after an absence, and you're comfortable doing so, we invite you to introduce yourself. If you're on Zoom, please type a note in the chat, and our Zoom chaplain, Judy Kaiser, will read your chat to us. Do I see any hats? Do we have any visitors this morning?
So good morning. My name is Rafael. Don't know anything about the Unitarian Church. A couple of friends of mine spoke highly of it, so I don't know what to expect, but I see lots of happy faces here, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, Rafael. Benvenido. Benvenido, Rafael. Anyone else in the sanctuary that would like to introduce themselves? Judy, do we have anybody on Zoom?
I don't see anybody chatting their name, but I see lots of lovely people. Happy to see you all.
All right, and then one other thing is that we ask that if there are any other trustees, Board of Trustees officers, or trustees in the room, could you please rise and be recognized? And we encourage newcomers to ask questions and allow these folks to fill you in on congregational life. Thank you. And thank you, Claire, for being our welcoming trustee this morning. We begin our service with a centering moment. Moving the dowel over the singing bowl causes vibrations. Vibrations cause resonance, and resonant overtones bring harmony. Singing bowls are used in spiritual practice, in sound healing, and meditation. As I strike the bowl, or as I move the dowel over the bowl, I invite you to listen to the swell and fade of sound as you enter into a quiet, centered place within. Breathe in acceptance and breathe out release until all that remains is silence. Rajeev, or chalice lighting.
Good morning. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Please join me in the reciting of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this faith, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, to the end that all shall grow into harmony. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Our opening hymn is number 1017, Building a New Way. The words will be on your screen, but you can also take up your teal hymnal. I wonder if, Monica, if you could play through the first, okay. And then on the second time through, we'll join it in. Rise in body or spirit. And with feeling and swing.
We are
right. Thank you, Monica, for that wonderful upbeat version. Now would be a time in our service for an open circle of care where hearts connect and strengths are shared, and the weight of sorrow is made easier to bear. We take this moment to gather the concerns and sorrows of our days. With tenderness, we hold them close. With gratitude, we hold them up, for this is what it means to be human, to be awake and alive. If you are in the sanctuary and you would like to come forward and release a stone in the water, marking the moment that fills your heart, you may do so silently, meditatively, or you may use the microphone to share briefly your heart's truth. Please be sure to tell us your name and try to speak a little slower than usual so we can hear every word. For those on Zoom, if you would like to put in the chat your concern or sorrow of the day, Zoom chaplain Judy Kaiser will share with us. We will hold you in our gaze and make room for you in our hearts, praying that you will find what you need in the days ahead.
I'm Patrick. Yesterday morning, I had to euthanize one of my dogs. She was a great companion for over a decade. So I really miss her.
Good morning. That's okay, don't worry. Good morning. My name is Linda Prentice. Just to continue the theme on animals and how much we love them and how much they love us. We had a little cat who we've had for 21 years, who was fabulous, and we got very sick about a month ago. And I haven't been crying, so this is just silly, but we decided that we weren't going to euthanize the cat. The cat was going to stay with us until the end. So that happened this week. And he just breathed a little sigh and passed. So I just thank God for all the animals that we have in our lives and all the creatures that love us, because we're all part of this wonderful world. And there's just so much that we can all share with animals and other people in that love. So I just pray that we all meet together at some point. I know that my little cat's probably eating lots of salmon and drinking lots of chilled water in cat heaven, wherever that is. So I thank him and thank this community for the support that they've given us through the past year since we've been members here.
Judy, is there anybody on Zoom?
Yes, yes, we have a message from St. Andrew's Estates, and the members there are asking us to place a stone for Vilma Deloff, who is in rehab, recovering from a broken foot. And they ask that we send healing thoughts her way.
Thank you, Judy.
And I have a sorrow. I walk every morning, and sometimes I see my neighbors and sometimes I don't. And I saw my neighbor the other day, and she revealed that in the past 2 months, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had a mastectomy, and now she's getting the reconstructive surgery. And I thought how how sad and terrible that is for her, but also realized that that meant it had been more than 2 months since we had talked. And that made me sad too, because connections with my neighbors enrich me, and I didn't realize it had been that long.
Thank you, Judy. Eli?
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Eli, and today marks the first day that I've been out of my house for the past 2 months. I have major depression, so I've just been stuck in the house, in my bed. But I wanted to start to make a change and get out of my house, and I thought this would be a great first day to do it. I don't know if it's supposed to be all bad, but I just wanted to say that I'm really happy to be here, to see all the friendly faces, and it's been really welcoming to me. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for having me.
Thank you, Eli, for your sharing.
My name is Ladine Mowry, and I would like to place a stone in memory of my husband Wendell, who passed away March 19th.
And I place this stone for all of the concerns and sorrows which remain unspoken and on our hearts this morning. And I'm also going to place 2 more stones for those sorrows from Zoom. I invite you now into a time of meditation, spoken and silent. Giver of freedom, giver of being, thou who touches our lives in unforeseen ways, who unsettles our ease and upsets our self-satisfactions, we wait in these moments of stillness to let the hidden processes of healing and growth do their silent work within us, and to let the quiet work of reconciliation be renewed among us. Because we know that the ultimate issues of life, healing and growth, reconciliation and renewal, cannot be forced, neither by excess of activity nor tumult of words. We seek out this stillness. We seek the quiet, the resting place of our restless hearts. Because we live with mystery, we trust that which is deeper than we know, which touches our hearts, which steadies us and rekindles our spirits, which finally in faith may be named the love that has laid hold upon us and will not let us go. Now let us share a time of silence. It is in giving and receiving that we weave a life worth living and shape a better world. May the connections of the heart now be strengthened so that kindness and care may flow. Amen. And our congregational response, Spirit of life, the words are on the screen. You may remain seated. Well, I haven't had a chance to introduce myself, or if I did, I missed the chance. I'm Reverend Kathy Rickey, and I'm the interim minister here at the fellowship. Today, we're going to talk about our Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Boca Raton, what we refer to often as UUFBR. Now, I think that you can also mean you, YOU, FBR. In other words, each of you is part of the whole. You all define and shape this fellowship of Unitarian Universalists. It's what each of you will do together that will launch this congregation's journey through transition toward a healthy and vibrant future. I've served as your interim minister for 9 months now, and I began working with the transition team several months ago to help accomplish the interim tasks that are actually explicit tasks of the congregation during this interim period between the time that the Reverend Harris Reardon retired after 25 years of ministry, and the transition time that I am helping you through to a new minister. So there are tasks to be done in that interim, which include exploring who you are as a religious community and then setting a course for a solid future together. The first task of the transition team, of this wonderful team, which includes, as introduced before, Rajeev Arora, Louise Malusis, David Nelson, and I'm going to tell you about Ellen Cormier in just a little bit, but the four of them were just a crackerjack team. Couldn't have asked for anybody better to work with, so thank you. The transition team, I tasked them first with hearing from as many of you as possible in the fellowship about how things are going. Without a settled minister, a congregation, that can be tough, that can be trying and confusing. So we wanted to hear, to listen, deeply listen to what your experience has been during this in-between time. So we thought it was also important that if we were going to listen to what you had to say, that it would be important for you to hear what each other had to say. And so we set it up in small group meetings, which emphasized listening. So we called it the listening process. We want you to know that it was inspirational and enlightening for us of the transition team to listen to you, to be listeners, to hear what you had to say. Many of you reported that you enjoyed being part of these sessions as well. Now, a little bit about the methodology. The transition team and I had the privilege of talking with some 75 of you, many in these small groups during February and March, and we arranged 5 prompts or questions to explore what you were feeling in this transitional time. Was there anything that you wanted to carry forward into a new era of ministry? Were there any positives to this time? And what did you think? We wanted to know, was there anything that you thought really needed to be in place before? Actually, we don't want to go to those slides yet, Charlie, if you would. Yeah, there we go. So we wanted to know if there was anything that you really thought should be in place before calling a new minister. And then finally, we wanted to know what you thought about the trajectory. Where are we going? So in our facilitation, we wanted you to be spontaneous, so we didn't let you see the prompts or the questions that we were going to ask. And we asked you to jot down your thoughts quickly. We didn't want you to overthink it. We also had some guidelines for sharing that promoted active listening, which meant that each person got to talk for 2 minutes uninterrupted and with no crosstalk. We did have, if we had time, we had some crosstalk at the end, but it was really a time for you all to share your thoughts and your feelings, and for the rest of us to listen. So when all of those sessions were complete, the transition team, in a Herculean effort, transcribed every response from each prompt into a spreadsheet. And in pondering how we were going to make sense of the responses and sort and maybe prioritize them, Rajeev found a word cloud program. We're going to show you in just a minute what a word cloud looks like, that actually did that for us. So the important thing to remember when you're looking at these word clouds that are the results, are the responses for each prompt, the largest words are the ones that were the most repeated, okay, or that there was a kind of a consensus about. So I want to close my review of the methodology with the words of recognition and appreciation for the excellent work that Ellen Cormier contributed to our work here. She had to step away from the transition team a few weeks ago because of health issues, but Ellen wants us to know that she's working hard to improve her few health issues. She still has good days and not so good days, but she says there's light at the end of the tunnel. So Ellen, we miss you. And again, we thank you for your invaluable contribution to this process. So now let us have David Nelson come up here and talk about the first 2 areas of discussion.
Okay, now the first time we saw these things, we were we were really impressed. This is a computer-generated thing, the word cloud. Now, this is question 1. The question was, quickly write down 2 words that describe how you feel when you walk through the door at UU-FBR. We were talking about during the last 6 months or 5 or 6 months, during the time that Harris wasn't here anymore, and we just wanted to know what it felt like when you came in the door. Obviously, the first words that we see are happy, home, accepted, warm, comfortable. People have a good feeling. The overwhelming sense, if you look at that, is that we're comfortable when we come here. If you look at the smaller words, though, you see there's a little anxiety and nervousness, and all of the responses are in here. So the little ones are 2 people or 3 people, the big ones are more, and we see that there are some feelings of anticipation and anxiety as we look forward to an unknown time. We don't, we have no pastor, and we still struggle to stay ahead of our needs financially and operationally. So it's not all good news, but it's a warm, happy, home, accepted place. That's how we feel about question number 1. Now here we go. The second prompt was name 2 favorite events or times of year, or just things that are important to you about the UU-FBR. So overwhelmingly, it was solstice and Christmas Eve. For some reason, you couldn't write Christmas in the program because it kicked it out. I think somebody I have no idea, but every time we put Christmas in it, it just kicked it out. So we put Xmas. There you go. It's somebody programmed it into that. Overwhelmingly, solstice, Christmas Eve services, but also high on the list is music, specifically congregational singing, coffee hour, service, flower service, communion, services like flower communion, May Day, game night was on the list, and we're happy that, with exception of music, we continue to have these events in the absence of a new minister, and the music program is in the process of development right now. It's funded, and we're in the process of finding a music director. We also want to say that even though we don't have a music director, we have had wonderful accompanists, Monica Ciudad Real, Julie Prock, and Steve Mento have helped us with our services, and we really appreciate it. And Louise Malusis is going to talk about question 3.
So we have slide number 3. Yeah. Hi. So the third question focused on the last 6 months of our experience here. What stood out for you? We weren't looking to reminisce about days past when Harris was here, but rather focus on the peak moments that occurred during the last 6 months. And this is 6 months from February, March. Many of you said that people you interacted with here were most important. Other responses said summer services, having Reverend Kathy join our fellowship, being able to attend on Zoom, the Circle of Care for Patricia. That was a peak moment for many. Game night and the IT team. So many people applauded the efforts of our IT team, Patrick, Mary, Rajeev, Charlie, and David. They are the unsung heroes that keep our presence on Zoom for those not able to come in person. They also make it possible for our snowbirds and those living at St. Andrews to attend every Sunday. And there was much praise for the worship team, and Ron was one of the leaders in that effort. The worship team kept the summer services going, and they continue to work together to provide quality Sunday services. And there was this general feeling that last summer was the best summer of services ever in this congregation. Also, the OWL program, Our Whole Lives, which is a sex education program for middle schoolers, was listed as a peak moment. We were grateful to Kiwa and Louis Merlin, who put the program together, and then were assisted by Danielle Smith and Nick Sanchez in getting it off the ground. We hope that those and many other peak moments continue to be part of your UUFBR experience. Now, Reverend Kathy will take us through question 4, which is the key part of this.
Our Whole Lives is actually lifespan sex education. So we even have programming for 60 plus, right? It's a great program, by the way. And in terms of educating our children on how to be responsible in a sexually active life, and how to have a sense of values and what you're going to do before you do it, right? So that's a very important part of our congregational life here. All right, so on to the 4th question. Now we are kind of projecting into the future here, and we ask you to name 2 things you feel needs to happen or be part of the fellowship before calling a new minister. So as you can see, music, still yearning for music. And we want a vibrant music program with a director and a choir. And that is a critical element of our service that we want to return to full tilt. Now, we can't overlook the heroic efforts of Ron Roth and Brenda and the choir members who try and bring music into the sanctuary, and we miss them terribly when they're not here. They also, Brenda and Ron did a kind of a study of what you all wanted. You were asked what you all wanted in the form of music, and then put together a report and a job description. So that is now in the hands of the board, and so we will keep our fingers crossed that the resources that we have will match a qualified candidate. Now, the other thing overwhelmingly that you indicated was that we need to increase our membership and bring children back to our congregation. And we do miss having children in our presence. Many children have grown up in this fellowship, in the youth religious education program, but our world and our culture is changing. And families, before COVID, families were already dropping off or choosing to be together at home on Sunday morning or doing other activities rather than coming to a religious institution. And then COVID happened, and it has gutted our religious education programs. We're not alone in this. There are other denominations and religious institutions that are experiencing the same thing, but it's not a phenomenon. I mean, there are quite a few exceptions to that as well. So for right now, though, thinking about having overnight a robust religious education program is a bit unrealistic. And further, in terms of growing our membership, this seems counterintuitive, right? So it seems like, boy, we want this place full. And yes, we do. But understand that where we are in this point, of time is that what it would take to grow membership, or if we did grow rapidly overnight, we wouldn't necessarily have the resources to handle it, all right? New members actually, and this is not to say that we don't welcome new members, but a rapid growth actually takes more resources, time, treasure, and talent that initially that it does later on. So the conventional wisdom among congregational gurus is that be happy with the size that you are and be the best that you can be at the size that you are. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't aspire to growth, but in terms of what we have here and now, perhaps we should think about how, how it is that how can we be the best members that we can be, and go from there. Now, the membership committee has done a lot of great work, and they've taken vastly improved in the process of a person, coming in as a visitor and then becoming a member. The path to membership has improved, and we have 17 new members since September. So that is not growth by leaps and bounds, but it's growth. So finally, in thinking about how we might be the best members that we can be, given who we are with our skill sets and our resources, think about how what we have here is probably needed by those in the community, right? I think that was shared with us this morning. So get out there and tell people about your religion and your congregation. Spread the word, invite a friend to worship. These are things that we're all capable of doing, right? So I'll move on now to mission and vision. You said that we needed to reevaluate our mission and vision, which was very insightful. Because that is actually a task of the interim ministry. But where vision defines who we are and why we're here, mission is how we live into that. So perhaps the board the Board of Trustees is tasked with beginning that process, but I think what would be useful is if you all would think about what you think, why are we here? And who do we serve? Finally, finances. Many of you said we need to get our financial affairs in order because it seems like perennially we have a budget, an operating budget that is bare bones. So we need stability, financial stability, in order to attract a potential ministerial candidate. So one thing that is important to know in talking about finances and your intuition about it is that there are about 11 people in the congregation who provide over 50% of our pledging income. So among the other 79, there is no doubt generosity, but we might think about how we can inspire generosity in each other, all right, and how we develop or we move toward a considering a more robust pledging habit. So we'll be talking about that again later too. So music, taken care of, the finances, mission and vision. There was also mention about spirituality and small group ministry. We have gotten small group ministry off the ground. Ask me about it, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop now and let Rajeev take over with our fifth prompt.
Thank you, Kathy. So the idea is, if we do all of these things in this interim time, where do we see ourselves 5 years from now? What is it that we envision for us? You'll see on this word cloud, many said we would be a thriving congregation with a large, diverse membership, offering family and youth ministry programs. Some said that we'd have a full choir on Sundays. We'd be more involved with community. We would be living committed to action. You'll see the desire for growth. You'll see the desire for outreach, for justice, for serving the spiritual and connection and social needs of our congregation. So none of us has crystal ball. So 5 years from now is hard to predict. But I think if we do these tasks that Kathy laid out in the previous slide for what it is that we should do before we call our next settled minister, there is hope that we can go ahead and achieve all of these things. So if you'll go to the next slide, right now, we actually want each of you to help participate in that. The question is, how do we go ahead and get to that vision of 5 years? And the answer, of course, as Kathy said at the very beginning, is you and you and you. And we need all the yous to complete the UUFBR. The way to think about this is, we are the foundation that the future is going to be built on. So how do we do that? Let's figure out how we build that future with what we have right now. We're gonna break out into 3 groups in just another minute. And each of you, I hope, will start with what we already have. Not worry about things that we don't have, things that we wish we had, but start with things we already have. This beautiful building, this wonderful congregation. We don't have the unlimited budget. Maybe we don't have an amazing social media presence and all of that, and those will come too. But let's start with what we have. Let's focus on how do we go ahead and start today and tomorrow to get us to where we want to be in 5 years. So if you'll go to the next slide, these are the 3 topics. And what I'm going to ask you to do in a minute, you'll notice that behind you are 3 whiteboards. One is labeled vision on this side. One is labeled membership in the center. One is labeled finances on the right side, for me anyways. And we'll do the same on Zoom. We'll actually go ahead and turn on breakout groups in Zoom, breakout rooms, and we'll create 3, vision, membership, and finances. And then we'll create a 4th one for the St. Andrews folks to be able to go ahead and have the discussion. What we're hoping is that in each of these groups, so you'll get up in a second, you'll walk to whichever area sort of jazzes you, where it is that you think you want to be able to start contributing. So go to that area, and I hope that we will be able to do 3 things. First, just talk about your ideas. If it's vision, what should our vision be? What should our mission be? How should we change over the next little while? Same on membership, same on finances. Talk about it. We'll have about 15 minutes. The second thing that I hope that you'll be able to do while you're in your little groups, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in person, is find one person who is willing to go ahead and take some notes. There's actually a clipboard right behind the flip chart there. And then hopefully that person will be able to come to the front and just briefly share your ideas. And then lastly, go ahead and sign up to contribute. Step up and make the difference in your area of interest. There is a little sign-up sheet again at each of them. And just tell us what your name is and what's the best way to get in touch with you. Text, call, email. And you can do the same on Zoom. When you go into your respective area or in the chat, just go ahead and tell us, here's, I want to help, and here's where I want to help, and what is the best way to get in touch with us. So without further ado, I'm going to ask you to stand. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pick an area. On Zoom, we'll open up the rooms, and we'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll come back together in 15 minutes. 10 minutes. Which one? Finance is back there, membership over here, and vision over there.
No, the board is, it's the.
I hope it's not the board that's not because you're not a musician. Honestly.
And you really have time to look at it closely and get more into what we have. We also don't
So as folks are kind of coming together in the different groups, those on Zoom, you're going to choose one breakout room. The St. Andrews Estates group is going to be in one room. But the three areas, once again, are membership, vision, and finances. Judy, how's it going with the breakout rooms?
We have, looks like 4 people, well, three attenders have joined membership. 2 attenders have joined vision. No one has joined finance.
Okay, that's fine, no problem.
And
I wonder, Judy, if you'd be willing to go in and out of the breakout rooms to just see how things are going? All right, thanks.
I will do that.
All right, now also remember, Eric, have you given with vision, you are answering the questions?
What is the purpose? What is our purpose of congregation? Why is UFBR here?
Okay. And for membership, the prompts are?
I'll enter, but then hopefully somebody will take the lead. How can I be the best member I can be? What qualities make a good member?
And for finances, the question is, the prompts are, okay, all right. All right, it is, you'll have to listen carefully, all right, and speak up because we got competition between groups. All right, I'm going to stop now.
So, blur, right? Just like they did with one word that pops to your mind right now. When you think about it. Now, to the year 2028.
Okay, so it looks like there are only 8 participants who haven't chosen a breakout room. I see Larry and Norma and Eileen. Christine, do you guys know how to join a breakout room? You can unmute. Let me know, because I'd like to help you get into a discussion because they're already talking about wonderful ideas. It's a very cool process. But you're all muted. Can you hear me? Okay, so Eileen is good where she is. Thank you, Eileen. You can type into the chat if you don't want to unmute, but you can unmute. Larry, is there a group that you would, as Rajeev says, that jazzes you to join? How about you, Norma?
Okay, I unmuted, but I'm taking pictures of the ones on Zoom now
Oh, okay.
for Sharon.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. Well, if there's a breakout room that you want to join, there's still, a good 15 minutes or 10 minutes to talk. Do you
Okay.
know how to do that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So membership, vision, and finance. And I think it looks like Christine popped off, so hopefully she found one to join. Good. All right. Well, I'm going to go join Vision. That's the one I'm supposed to be facilitating. And I'll see you guys back in 10 or so minutes.
Two minutes, 2-minute warning.
What do you mean?
Where would you post that? Are you talking about in our small groups, or are you talking about our Facebook page, or are you talking about, where are you talking about?
No, I'm just thinking about like trying to get us as a presence more out in the community to get membership, rather than just having members come to us. Like I remember, so when we had,
That was the most novel or creative idea. And if you want to continue these conversations, put your name on the list that comes with every clipboard, okay? And we can make.
So it makes it sound like just existing is really important. The fact that we exist.
Yes, the fact that we exist is very important. Now we just need to, maybe get the message out there that we exist.
See, I find it in a front sometimes what the governor.
If you want the Zoom people to be able to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you want to do that? Or can they hear me?
Not, if you tell me, then I'll tell her to end it and bring everybody back.
All right. Oops. Vision. Vision. Eric, have you got one thing that was a great idea? Okay.
Everything will follow. Right. Thank you, everyone. Okay, if I had to pick one word that I think encapsulates the vision for UUFBR, it would be in the spirit of music, how there are different voices that are heard, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. We want that to be the vision of UUFBR. We want many different voices to be heard. We want it to be harmonious, and we want it to be heard. We want it to be engaged in the larger community and to just hum it to ourselves. So I would say music.
Okay, also know that we're not going to have you move, so if you want to continue this conversation through coffee hour. All right, Ron, membership.
All right, so our challenge was to talk about what a good member is, what are the qualities we want in members, and then we kind of finished that, so we moved on to some suggestions about the two biggest words on the slides, how to increase membership. I'll go through the words that we came up with what a good member is. A good person, kind, fair, helpful, participates, invites others, volunteers, spreads the word, communicates what's going on so that everyone knows what we offer. Asking members to wear a new badge or a lanyard so that others can see and talk to and welcome and make people feel welcome when they come through the door. In members, we wanted people to be caring, selfless, creative, a good listener, friendly, open-minded. We wanted people with good singing voices. Someone wants to help fill out the choir. Mutual respect for diversity. And lastly, they offered a few suggestions of what can help increase membership. Redoing the website to focus on what new members need to see. Emphasize social activities. Present some better visual marketing that gives us, lets people see who we are. And then young adult group, and wanting to have a clear core definition of what UU Church is so that people out there know who we are and that we exist.
Thank you, Ron. I said one, not all, but that's okay, that's good. And remember that the idea is that what can you, and me do, okay? What's within our wheelhouse? All right, Patricia.
Thank you. One of the first things that came up is why are some of us financially challenged? And that maybe
Can I
what
interrupt
we can
something?
do is share more of our ideas of what we do. So, when you go to a chamber of commerce, the purpose of going to a chamber of commerce is to get more business, and you do business with one another. So you don't go to some other person, you go to a chamber member to do your business. Whereas here, we don't really know what resources we have available, and if we could give our money that we need to do projects to other people in our congregation, they could then increase their pledges. So that was one thing. A second thing was keep doing auctions and more robust fundraising as we did pre-COVID. Third is to continue to seek 100% participation. Another issue was tell us how much we're raising each week on the plate. Come back the next week and say, last week we raised $375 in the plate, so that we're being reminded that we're collecting money both for the congregation and for other entities. There was an issue of if 11 people are giving the money, then maybe we need to be having more meetings like this where we're talking to the other 79 people who aren't giving as much money to tell them what's going on and ask for their participation and help. That maybe that there's a feeling that the 11 people have more say, and maybe we need to make it clearer that the entire congregation has a say in what happens. And then the last point that was brought up is maybe we can't afford a new minister. We need to consider other means of conducting our business, such as a lay-led congregation. And that kind of led to the point of maybe we need to look at the way we do business and think, are there different ways of doing it that would enable our bare bones budget to stretch further?
All right. So once again, thinking about how we can generate generosity in each other. Do we have anybody, Judy from Zoom, that has responded? Can you give us one of your responses?
Yes, I'm not quite clear if we're with the program, because when the Zoom people came back, I first heard a report about membership, and then I heard a report about finance. Did you get the Zoom membership report?
No, but can you pick something quickly out of it that we
Actually, yeah, I mean, I'm going to hand it over to Marilyn Falkowski, who was the reporter for the membership group.
All right, great. Hi, Marilyn, go ahead. Is she unmuted? She needs to be unmuted.
You need to unmute.
After the greeting process, somebody suggested that that we have further conversation and further chit chat to show interest in what they're all about. So they might fill out an initial form, but then they just are let loose, and what happens next. So somebody suggested following some ideas that Norma Goodell used to do when she was involved with that. Social media, people are talking about events that happen nearby, like drum circles, that there was one that was right in the park nearby, and inviting other people and interacting with those people in the nearby places. Somebody suggested adding to that initial questionnaire, how did you find us? So we can kind of get a sense of what is working and what is not working. So those are some of the ideas.
Great. Marilyn, thank you. That's probably all the time we have. Oh, I'm sorry, of course, St. Andrews.
And also I don't know if you got a report from the people in person from the Vision, but we have a report from Zoom.
Yeah, if you will, if you can somehow send that to admin@uufbr.org. Is that possible?
Okay, will do.
Right. Okay. St. Andrews? Just give us
St.
one or
Andrews.
two. Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes. One or
Yes.
two, Carol, not all of them. Yes.
You must have seen my list. I think two significant things that came out from here are to watch our words more carefully. We might benefit if we spoke about ourselves as not being unique, but being inclusive. Not talking about how much we know, but how much we care. And in terms of our vision, we think community is vitally important, but we recognize that our values are different from the state in which we live. And we should be called on to be outward facing for that reason.
Okay, great. Carol, thank you so much. All right, so now what's going to happen is we are going to grab the baskets, ask Monica, she's already back at the piano, stay right where you are. Baskets are going to be passed right where you are. And we are going to take the share the plate offering. And our benefit factor is safe. Safe harbor, right? Now, also, because we have done this work of important work of the congregation, I'm going to assume that you had a joyful time in that, or at least it was a good experience. So we're going to omit the joys, and we're going to go right straight to, do you want to go to 1058? Okay. All right, so has the basket been passed? All right, let's go to sing our closing hymn number 1058, and I'm going to go extinguish the chalice. The words are on your screen. Thank you so much for doing this and participating.
Like sunshine goes everywhere, it is temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
Thank you. Go in peace, friends. Enjoy coffee hour.
Tell you, it worked.
And write the job description and do it. Fine, I'm cool with that.
Thank you. You always do a great job.